So this is going to be part 2 of the SketchUp video. So first we're going to hit R to create a rectangle. Type in 100 by 100 feet. We don't want this to be touching the model that we just made, so now we're just going to select it and move it. You probably don't want to click in the center because we want the model to be centered on this. Next we're going to go ahead and create a line. So now we're going to hit the fill tool and we're going to color this area green. So now we're going to go ahead and create some pathways that kind of branch off of this outer face that we've created. First, we're going to go ahead and hit the line tool, click here, and aim at this edge so that it will snap a magenta colored line because we want it to be perpendicular to that edge. So 60 feet, I'm just going to delete this line. Do the same thing on this side. Okay, that's not working, so aim at this line instead, and it's going to be parallel to that one. Tab, 60 feet. It wants you to create another line. Click here, Command Z to undo. Select the line, delete it, and now we're going to do the same thing basically on these 4 sides. So click here, and aim at this one. There we go. And we're going to aim it over here. Let's just hit 50 feet. That looks good. Again, aim at this line because, and it's going to be parallel. Again, 50 feet. Click here, and now basically we're just going to do the same thing for both of these 2 sides. The line is not going to snap. Okay, it's perpendicular now. 2 feet, 3 feet. Okay, that's good. Now, just go ahead and aim at this line. It's going to be parallel. Okay. We're basically just going to do the same thing for this side. That looks good. So now we have these kind of pathways. What we're going to need to do now is to color them. I'm going to just go ahead and choose this one. It's a silver color. I think now we're going to choose the color that we want the surfaces of the spiral ramp tower to be. So this one, I'm going to fill in all these. We're also zooming into here and coloring the undersides as well. Then we're going to go ahead and color these faces in. So now we're going to go ahead and design a sort of chute that the player can fall down through. We're going to go ahead and use the orbit tool. We can just aim here and it will snap perpendicular. We're going to go ahead and edit 1 foot, 6 inches. It's going to be parallel. Draw from here on edge. And now we're going to use the offset tool to offset this edge. We're going to go ahead and enter a value of 1 inch. Now we're going to go ahead and delete this line, push and pull tool again, and pull this down to about, I guess we'll choose 10 feet. Now we're going to create a line, 1 inch as well, then orbit, then hit the line tool, create an on-edge line. Pull this to, now we want to color the inside of this. And I feel like it's kind of a gold color. I actually discovered that cantaloupe makes a good gold color. We want to go under the world, and the face is just going to be blocking our way. We don't want that. So we're going to hit the line tool. We're going to create some lines like this to separate this face. We're going to color this edge also cantaloupe. Now we're going to hit the magnesium and color. So now we're going to maneuver our way around to this part of our model. We're going to create a line from this corner directly up, and we're going to make it 1 inch. Then we're going to create a parallel line to this. Now we're going to create some offset lines that are 1 inch. Now we're going to create another line that is 6 inches. We're going to be creating a doorway that leads outwards from here. Now we're going to create another offset line, create another line that's 6 inches. I've been making my kind of clearances or pathways 6 inches in this model. And one thing that's interesting about that choice is that if you were to 3D print this model, you would need like a giant 3D printer or something. And yet, this model would be, in like the clearances in this model, the doorways that lead into the spiral ramp tower and outwards to the bridge would be sized for like a borrower or something. Like if you've seen or read like anything to do with the borrowers, I've seen Arietti, so that's kind of where I got this from. If you've seen that, then you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay, that was kind of off track. So I've pushed this face to on edge, and you want to make sure that it's on edge and it has that perforated line that goes outward from where you just clicked on, and that kind of follows you around. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and pull this face to create the platform. So we're going to go ahead and pull this face to create the platform that we were just talking about. And because we don't want to have to deal with like zooming in, zooming out, all that kind of stuff, orbiting, so what we're going to do is type it in, maybe about 20 feet. So now we're just going to delete these lines. And now we're going to go ahead and color this plank platform a cayenne color. This is the same cayenne color that we used on the bridge rails. This will do us fine. However, we can see that these edges are also colored with cayenne color. We don't want this, so we're going to go ahead and create some separation lines and then color them like they were just colored. We're going to revert them back to the way they were by doing that. Now we're going to create an up arrow sign above this doorway. L for the line tool, and then I'm going to create a line 1/1/2 inch. Now we're going to create a perpendicular to edge line that's 1/4 of an inch here, and then we're going to create another line directly up that's the same distance as that one. And now we're going to make sure that none of the lines lead in the wrong direction. Now we're good. Then I'm going to create another line that is 1/2 of an inch. Then we're going to create another line directly down. Doesn't really matter the distance. We're just going to be using this as kind of a guide for what we're going to be doing. And now we're going to create a line that is 1/2 of an inch, and then create a line that is 5/16 of an inch from that. We're going to create a line that's 5/16 of an inch down this endpoint. Then we're going to create a line that leads here, from here to here, and a line that leads from here to here. Next, we're going to go ahead and delete all of these lines. The next thing that we're going to do is, you see that this surface is not aligning. We're going to go ahead and use the line tool to kind of fill in. So that's effectively separated it into a new face. Now, we're basically just going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Just go ahead and delete these lines. And then we're going to create the point of our arrow. So click here and extend this edge. Once you create another line, click and then hit Command Z to undo. Now, do that again, hit the select tool, and then delete all these excess lines. Now, you can see we have a problem with this face not being separate. Again, we want to use the line tool, and as you can see, that was pretty easy. We just separated the face. Now, I'm going to choose to color this into a maraschino color. Now, we're going to create an actual way for the player to get into here. We're going to hit the select tool and select the middle line, delete it, push the surface to here. Now, we're going to select the arrow and then copy it and then paste it to here. Now, I'm going to right click on it and select Make Group just to prevent it from sticking to anything. The scaled option. So now we're going to make it so that the arrow is actually pointing down. We're going to make sure that it's at 1.00. Now we're going to color the arrow. And for some reason we can't color the group, so we're just going to click Explode, and that will ungroup everything. Color the arrow. I'm going to choose to color it black. Now I want to create a sign for where this will take the player. So I'm going to select the 3D text from the tools dropdown or from the large tool set. Then we're going to enter unedited underside exhibit. I'll show you why in a minute. Now we're going to color this text to a midnight color. Now we're naming this unedited underside exhibit because the underside that the player is about to see is not edited. And I think maybe this stuff could use maybe moving up. So let's just go ahead and move these things up a bit. So the next thing that we're going to do is to create some windows. So we're going to measure 4 sides away. Next, we're going to create a line that leads up from the midpoint, and then we're going to measure a line that is 6 inches perpendicular, and then another line that is 1 foot perpendicular. Then we're going to be measuring 4 inches up and 2 inches down, and that's going to create the frame for our window. We're going to go ahead and delete these lines, and now we're going to push to on the face and then recreate the outside face with the rectangle tool. This is just easier to do without having to orbit and then orbit back again. Now we're going to choose the fill tool, and I'm going to be choosing the magnesium color for this. I'm also going to be setting the opacity 40%. At 0% opacity, it's basically transparent face, so you cannot see the face. At 40%, it's somewhere in between 100% and 0%. This is going to make it a translucent window. Now, we're going to see the difference between how our surroundings look outside versus how they look through the window. Now, we're going to create another face, and we already have the setting selected. We're going to fill this with the same color. And again, you can see how the world looks normally and how it looks through the window. You can see a significant difference here. So now, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Same setting on the other side, so that's working pretty nicely. And once again, how the world looks through the window, how it looks normally, how it looks normally, how it looks through the window, how it looks normally, how it looks through the window. There's a huge difference. Let's also look outside, how the world looks normally, how the world looks through the window. Now, we're going to hit the line tool, and then create a line to go ahead and delete all of these lines, and again we're going to select the magnesium color at 100% opacity, and that's going to be the top of our building. And that's basically it. That's how I designed the model. Alright, I hope you found this video interesting. If so, feel free to like it, share it with family and friends, and subscribe for more interesting videos. If you want to be notified on my new uploads, click the bell that appears after you subscribe. And to check out my channel, click here. I have more videos that I think you would find interesting to watch. If you have questions or requests, you can let me know in the comments. As always, thanks for watching.